This video looks at the area and perimeter of a triangle. So triangle is a three-sided enclosed figure. So here's a three-sided figure that's not enclosed. So a triangle is like a fenced-in area. This particular figure here, that should actually be a complete line segment here, so this area shouldn't be open. So my first question though here is, what do you get when you rotate one of two identical triangles and fit the triangles together? So I have two identical triangles here. I'm going to take this triangle here, I'm going to rotate it and move it into position. And notice the figure I get is a parallelogram. Okay, and the area of a parallelogram is base times height. So we get a parallelogram. So we call this triangle 1, triangle 2, and then together they make the parallelogram. And this is another example. Two identical triangles. I rotate one of the triangles and fit it together like this. You can see again we get a parallelogram. So continuing this idea, so now I have two identical triangles, triangle 1, triangle 2. Triangle 1 we say is congruent to triangle 2. That means they are the same shape and size. So the area of the parallelogram here, which is the shaded area here, is equal to, for example, 2 times the area of triangle 1. Or, since triangle 1 is congruent to triangle 2, that is, in other words, the area of triangle 1 equals the area of triangle 2, you could also write it as 2 times the area of triangle 2. Or you could say the area of triangle 1 is 1/2 the area of the parallelogram. Because two triangles make one parallelogram, so that means half a parallelogram is equal to the area of a triangle. Half the area of a parallelogram is equal to half the area of a triangle. So area of triangle 2 could be written as 1/2 the area of a parallelogram also. Now extending this idea, in general the area of a triangle is 1/2 the area of a parallelogram. Thus the area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height, because the area of a parallelogram is base times height. Okay, then the perimeter is the distance around a triangle. Based on my diagram, it's going to be the sum of the sides, so it's going to be A plus B plus C. So now a couple examples. Find the area and perimeter of the triangle. Well, in this case, my base is, you can see here's my altitude or height, which we talked about with parallelograms, if you looked at that video previously. Here's the altitude. The altitude will intersect the base or an extension of the base at a right angle. Well, in this case, it doesn't actually intersect the base because this is an obtuse triangle. The height is actually outside the triangle. But here's my right angle, and here's the extension of the base. So this is my height, and this is my base B. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 times B times H, which in this case is 1/2 times 8.1 times 6. Now there's several ways you could calculate this. One way is to take 1/2 of 6, which is 3, times 8.1. Another way is to take 8.1 times 6 and take half of it. Well, also, notice 1/2 by decimal division is 2 into 1 at a decimal point 0. 1/2 as a decimal is 0.5, so I could also write this as 0.5 times 8.1 times 6. And I could either take 0.5 times 8.1 times 6, or again take half of 6, or take 0.5 times 8.1 times 6. It doesn't matter. Any way you do it, you're going to get the same result. You just can't take a half of 8.1 and then a half of 6, so you can't do this. Because then you're taking a half of a half, which is a quarter, and that's not what we want to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take half of 6, which is 3, times 8.1. That's 24.3. In this case, it's square centimeters. So again, the area is referring to the amount of space inside the actual triangle. It's referring to, so I could fit 24.3 little square centimeters inside this triangle. That's what this means. So each of these little square centimeters is 1 centimeter on a side, and I can fit 24.3 of them. The perimeter here actually, okay, is going to be the sum of sides. So the perimeter is going to be the sum of sides, which is 10 plus 8.1 plus 16. After the 10 and 16, I'm going to add decimal points. And then I have 8.1 because I want to make sure the ones line up and the tenths line up. So I put zeros there for placeholders. That's like adding 100 plus 160 plus 81. Bring your decimal point straight down. When you add, you must bring your decimal point straight down. So that's 1. 14, carry a 1, that's 34.1 centimeters. One last example. So find the area and perimeter of the triangle. Well, the area here, first I need to identify the base. The base and height are where the two intersect at a right angle. So this is going to be my base, B. This is going to be my height. So my area of the triangle is 1/2 times B times H. I'm going to replace B with 15.1. And I'm going to replace H with 5. Now you could take half of 5 if you're aware of that. That's 2.5. If you didn't know that, 1/2 of 5 is 1/2 times 5, which is 5 over 2. And if you didn't know it's 2.5, you could divide the bottom denominator and the numerator, and you get 2 goes into 5 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract 1, add a decimal point, bring it straight up. Add a 0, drop it down. 2 goes into 5. 10. 5 times 2 times 5 is 10. So I could write this as 2.5 times 15.1, and that's what I think I'll do. I could have taken 0.5 times 15.1 first, but I think it's easier to take 0.5, half of 5, which is 2.5. That's the first row at a placeholder 0. 1 times 2, 2 times 5 is 10, carry a 1, 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So adding these up, 2 places behind a decimal point, move it 2 places to the left, so I have 37.75 square meters. So the area of the triangle is the space inside the triangle there, and that means I can fit in 37.75 squares that are, they should be meters, that are 1 meter by 1 meter on a side. The perimeter is the length around the figure, or the sum of the sides. So the perimeter of the triangle equals 8 plus 10.2 plus 15.1. After the 8, there's a decimal point. Line your decimal points up because you're adding. Add a 0 placeholder after 8. Now this is like 80 plus 102 plus 151. Bring your decimal point straight down. That's 3. 8 and 5 is 13. Carry a 1. That's 33.3 meters. So in other words, if I took a tape measure, I would measure, if I went around here, I would measure a total of 33.3 meters. And this concludes the video.